I was born right around the advent of the internet as it became commonplace throughout the world. At a very early age, I got involved with peer-to-peer programs like BearShare. As I explored the World Wide Web, I got myself involved with online fan forums and video sharing sites, basically looking up whatever I already had liked. But I never really used it to purposefully discover new things. At this point, thanks to my brother, I was already well aware of anime. You know, I watched the shit all of the boys from that era watched. Some of Dragon Ball Z, pretty much anything that was on Toonami or on Adult Swim at like 3 in the morning. But I never really sat down by myself and thought, I'm gonna watch a whole anime. Because to me, anime was sort of a background noise. It was that thing that aired on TV and I sat through because nothing else was on. Put some Ed, Edd n Eddy on, I'm all over that shit. Put on some Bobobo, yeah, I'll check it out I guess. So I remember one night I was bored and I decided to look up on YouTube. Okay, but after that it was anime. And I started to discover quite a lot. Now, one thing you gotta know about me is that when I was a wee little lad, there were 3 big anime that I loved. 1. Higurashi. 2. One Piece. 3. Piru. No, I'm not gonna do that. Instead, I'll do this. Okay, now that you know, Bokusatsu Tenshi Dokuro-chan, or Bludgeoning Angel Dokuro-chan, or Club to Death Angel Dokuro-chan, I'm just gonna call it Dokuro-chan, is an anime OVA series with 2 seasons, one in 2005 with 4 episodes, and one in 2007 with 2 episodes. I discovered this shit back in like 2008 to 2010, you know, it was on the sidebar and it's like Dokuro-chan episode 1, part 1 out of 500. It was one of those. Remember back when there was a 10-minute time limit on YouTube videos? Anyway, it's directed by Tsutomu Mizushima, who's done quite a lot over the years actually. He has a pretty prolific output. He does seem to have his own little niche though of fucking insane comedy series with ridiculous premise. To put it into perspective, he also directed Prison School and Plastic Nason. To put it lightly, he's a pretty polarizing guy with some polarizing shows and some polarizing ideas. AKA, perfect for a show like this. At first glance, it seems like it's a piss take on the whole average guy has a super hot alien girl come down and live with him subgenre of romantic comedies. I mean, it says so pretty blatantly in episode 1. It even has the brown-haired girl next door archetype. In that sense, it's a funny spin on these kinds of narratives. There's the cute otherworldly girl living with the average guy, but in this case, she's an absolute nutcase who wants to murder you. I guess some guys are into that? Who am I kidding? I know there are. I say that it satirizes these elements, but I don't think it's out of spite or derision. I think it's pretty obvious that the author has a reverence for series like Urusei Yatsura, and wanted to have their own little spin on it. Dokuro-chan is a simple creature. She's an angel, with a big bat, and with this bat, she likes to murder the main character. A lot, seemingly for no reason. And every time he gets killed, she revives him by using a spell, saying, seriously, everyone who's ever watched this show has those words like ingrained in their mind forever. As the series goes on, she becomes less volatile and just more so clueless to the social norms and mores of Earth. That is until season 2, where she just seems to really like killing the guy. A lot of the humor just comes from her having zero regard for the dude's health, and also from seemingly normal situations just spiraling down into absolute absurdity. Needless to say, she torments Sakura here pretty relentlessly, choking him, being a cock tease. Honestly, the opening song of both seasons lays it out pretty well. Absolutely iconic. Oh yeah, there's also another angel who wants to kill him. And I like her because there's this running gag where after she meets Sakura for the first time, she's just homeless? So there's just this angel who's an absolute bum, living under a bridge, wandering through the forest with rags like fucking Deckard Cain. I love it. The show constantly just shits on her, but like that's what makes it funny. The ending theme of the first season is just her in her little shack in the rain. It's so sad. Alright, it's time we address the elephant in the room here. This show's fucking bonkers, man. For example, Dokuro-chan has a spell where she just inexplicably turns characters into real-life animals, and they just stay that way throughout the entire anime. I love how the side effect of grabbing an angel's halo is just them having uncontrollable explosive diarrhea. I love Binkan Salaryman. It's this anime within the anime starring a salaryman who's just really sensitive to everything. It's not outright stated, but it seems like it's the most popular show within the series. There's a merchandised sausage for him, he's playing in theaters, he has his own theme song.
Binkan, 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 Binkan. Binkan, 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 Binkan.
It's amazing. I love how there's just an in-universe real-life version of Sakura.
なんで僕を描いてんの？っていうかこれ僕？やだよ消してよ。痛い痛い違う僕じゃなくて例の方の僕を消す。
Look at this dude. Kind of freaks me out. Also, he's on Fish. Hi, Matthew C. Perry. Oh yeah, and other than the Tatami Galaxy, this show probably has the best visual metaphor for getting a boner that I've ever seen.
自分の毒虫が巨大に硬くなっているのを見つけました。
大丈夫だよグレン。それは病気なんかじゃない。
This show's like if you spilled out the contents of a hormonal teenager's head and gave it a team of multiple people to work on it. One thing I love about the show is just the sheer energy behind it. It's just 6 episodes of non-stop madness. That energy is what really sells me on the show. It takes full advantage of the fact that it's an OVA and they can do whatever. And it is through OVAs that these sort of weird, experimental ideas can be given life without the restraints of a TV broadcast. Finding this series really was the first time I took action by myself and looked for a show rather than just watching what was given to me. In that sense, it is my first anime. What a first anime to have. Jesus Christ. Dokuro-chan really opened the door for that kind of discovery for me. And how could it not? The shit I was watching at the time was like fucking My Gym Partner's a Monkey. Dokuro-chan was new, strange, and exciting to me, and I wanted to find out more stuff like it. And I think that's the experience for a lot of other people who saw this show when they were pretty young. For a 10 or 11-year-old, this shit kinda blew my mind. Mainly I was just baffled by it. I saw it and just thought, what is this? You know, stuff like that's what makes the internet so amazing. You can discover the strangest, weirdest shit that you likely weren't even meant to see. It's like that with music too. See, for example, the sudden rise in popularity of city pop in Western countries in the last few years. I can't even begin to fathom the amount of artists that I've discovered online that I would have never heard on the radio or in a record store. Dokuro-chan seems to be a formative anime for a lot of people around my age somehow. Maybe they were also on YouTube 24/7 and saw Dokuro-chan episode 1 part 1 recommended to them and thought, what is this? You watch and forget a lot of things when you're young, but Dokuro-chan is not something you forget. This series to me really seems like something that's of its time, and I don't mean that negatively. From the aesthetic to the spastic manner of animation to its references and homages to other otaku pieces of media, you can definitely tell this was made in 2005 and 2007. It really is an embodiment of the otaku zeitgeist of that era. And for that, it's oddly nostalgic to come back to. Or maybe that's literal nostalgia in my case. But honestly, I don't even remember most of the series. But I still got that feeling of going back to simpler times. And I suppose that's how I feel when watching Dokuro-chan. Simpler times, 10 years ago, browsing on YouTube.